Hey, welcome back to Save State Podcast episode I've Lost Count. I am Matt, the Digital Jedi, and we have just another banger episode for you this week. We have just probably the coolest dude you have ever talked to. If you haven't talked to me, he's still the coolest dude. We are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Gamma from Gamma OS. How are you, brother?
Oh, good. Oh, good. Glad to be here, guys. Looking forward to chatting today.
Oh my gosh, we're honored to have you. This week we got the full crew along with Mr. Gamma. We got Mr. Silicone Fox. How are you doing, Jeeve?
Hanging in there.
Being fly as always.
Trying my best, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then in the big dog, we got the big dog up top in the corner there, Mr. Monto Squeeze himself. How you doing, player?
How we doing? I'm chilling. I'm stoked to be back. I'm getting to rust off the gears, and I'm just back on my grind set. I got Gamma on this thing, by the way. No glaze.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. My gosh. And then anchoring the team is the old man in the corner, like always, Mr. Too Loud Tech. What's up, Alex? What you doing, dog?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, brother.
All right. I was actually taking a moment to get myself from under the bus and throw you under the bus today, Matt, and let everybody know, because they were like, it's Too Late's fault. And I was like, no, it's not Too Late's fault this time. Matt forgot to send the link. So
yeah, I forgot to say Gavin the link. We're like a minute in, like, hey, how do I join? I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to send the link.
oh man.
I'm good, but I'm not that good. Yeah.
Oh my God, fair enough, man. Live chat, how's everybody in the audience? We got a stacked crew back there. I mean, we got Skulls, we got Gabe, we got Ernie, we got Vegan, we got a couple of new people I haven't seen before. Is it Go Colon? Welcome, brother. Just Big Stubbs is out there. Just the whole crew is back. Thank you for supporting us. We love you guys. Thank you. And yes, Gamma does have a fly haircut.
Stubbs says I'm just here for Gamma's haircut.
Miss Radiant Shay is here. Jay Powell is here. I mean, thank you for supporting us, guys, man. How's everybody's week? What are you guys into this week? What are we doing? Geez, what are you getting into this week?
No, nothing too special. Working on like a little mini PC I'm building, and then I've just been kind of fooling around with like some old Neo handhelds. So nothing major.
Fly. Mr. Gamma, what about you? What you got? And what are you into this week?
Well, the typical usual development stuff. So really focusing on Gamma OS. Yeah, Gamma OS Nano, which is like a really slim version of Android, which I'll show you guys more about this in a couple of moments. But yeah, mostly focusing on that. And then wrapping up with the next Gamma OS release, which will be over the course of the next week or so. So yeah, really exciting stuff.
Really excited. So, if you guys don't know in the audience, I know we all know we're a part of it. Gamma made his own Discord, and we all joined right away. And the first thing I saw was the Gamma Nano, and I was like, what is this? Right. And so I'm excited to see it. And then you explain some of it. It's kind of like a real basic, go straight to the games, kind of like your version of something simple. Yeah, I'm super excited. So that looks really cool. I can't wait to see that. Too Loud, what you working on, dog? What you got going on this week?
Dude, just a little bit of everything. Trying to finish up, wrapping up this Apex so I can send it out over to you. Then I got doing some messing around with the F1 Pro.
Gosh.
Also got
baller.
The I wish these are all loaners. This one's not though. This one's not. I got this from the tech daddy himself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I've been eyeballing it for a while.
The Silver Surfer.
They're so expensive for a vertical, and like I was like hesitant for a long time. But the classic, it's the Retroid Pocket Classic's fault. I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed that Retroid Pocket Classic so much, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the jump. I'm gonna get the DMG. So when Retro Tech that threw this up on there, I was like, oh, dude, let me go ahead and take that dive. So yeah, that, and then also last thing I got here. I picked this up in the RH Discord, so it came with a nice little case here.
I have that same case. It's so sick. It's textured.
Got that gold Switch Lite, dude.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. already Pico Fly, but unfortunately, the thing, and I think a lot of people don't think about this when they're trading these devices. Like, dude, and I'm not blaming him, man. Much love to the guy who gave me this. I don't want to put him on blast, or not gave it to me, but sold it to me. He took out the SD card, and when you have a Pico Fly switch and you take out that SD card, like I don't know what firmware you're running, I don't know what custom firmware you're running. I get it, right? Like if you had a 1 terabyte, like the cost goes up. Offer to sell me that, or at least take a smaller card, a 16 gig or something, and copy the main files over to it so that I could transfer them to an SD card of my own. So just a mistake, but it happens. But yeah, dude, super excited. Just a ton of stuff, man. And also got a new teleprompter, so you guys see I'm looking right at you here, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, man, just been a great week. Been a great week, dude.
Awesome here. Gamma, I saw you nodding your head. So you're into switches and like Pico Fly and stuff like any switches too? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I've modded a few. I'm not as good at soldering as I used to be, so the tiny soldering points is something I'm struggling with these days. But yeah, a couple of years ago, no problem. Modded quite a few. So Pick and Fly stuff's quite interesting, especially after the RCM jig back in the day. Yeah, so
I still have an RCM jig. I have a Gen 1 back there with the RCM jig. Yeah,
me too. Me too.
It's good stuff. I want to get my hands on a Switch OLED, but what I'm really waiting for is maybe there'll be a Switch 2 OLED, but I also see there's something about a removable battery for a Switch 2 that could be interesting for us as well in the UK. So yeah.
That's a great topic, and we have it here. So I think that we're definitely going to tackle that because I think there's something fascinating about that, and I want to talk about that. Something along I read an article one time that there was some kind of document or licensing saying that Samsung was working on an OLED panel, and it wasn't the same panel that was in the Switch 1. It looked like the specs for the Switch 2's panel. It was a real confirmation. So I mean, but it makes sense, right? They do it with everything else. Why wouldn't they do it with that? So yeah, interesting. Anyway, Monta, what about you, man? What are you working on? I know you've been just slammed at work this week. You got anything else?
I checked the last time I posted on YouTube was like almost 3 weeks ago, which is 3 years in YouTube time. But
that's crazy for you, dude. For you, that's crazy because you're pretty on top of it generally.
I'm still gaming though. I'm still gaming. So what are you playing? So I've been playing Fallout 4 on the Retroid Pocket 6. And like putting together a little guide on, because it's still under 250. So being able to play games like Fallout 4, some other Windows games for under 250 is pretty solid. And then outside of that, the same old, just plucking away at all kinds of handhelds. I impulsively bought a Motorola Edge Plus phone because Mr. Sujano shouted it out this morning. He was like, "Yeah, under $100, you can
I
get
saw that. It was like $76.
Yeah, you can get a used phone, and then you can get a telescopic controller, and it has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in it. Not too bad for under $100. You get yourself a little handheld sandwich." So
a fly ham on sandwich. That's a good idea.
So I impulsively bought one. I sniped a 512 gig storage one for like $100.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna do a little something with it. We'll
nice.
see.
I hate you. I'm so impulsive too. I hate you. I'm so impulsive.
you checking prices on eBay?
I will.
That's what I feel like. He's like on the background right now, another tab, like shopping for one.
But I also have been messing around with dual booting Gamma and Rocknix. Shout out Gamma.
Stubb says, "Where did you get the Moto?"
Oh,
from eBay. From the lovely sellers, the very trustworthy phone sellers of eBay. But yeah, I also dual booted Rocknix and Gamma on here, and
I've got to give a shout out to the Rocknix guys. They've done a phenomenal job with the firmware.
Oh my gosh, on fire, right? They are just killing it, man.
The guys
machines. Yeah.
They're on the roll. We're working on so many things at the moment. But yeah, no, I collaborate with those guys as well. Talk to them privately and other channels as well. And yeah, they're a blast to get on with. So no, shout out to Rocknick's team. Very well done. I think for Android, it's pretty good if you want to do a lot of multitasking. If you just want dedicated gaming, Rocknick's is probably the best way to go. But hey, there's always room for improvement from my end. So I'm definitely looking at different things I could do there as well.
I mean, the great thing is when you could have the best of both worlds, right? Like with the RGDS, and I'm running mine the same way, and got Gamma for the Android layer, have that Rocknix on that SD card, and you get the best of both worlds, man. It's pretty awesome.
That device needs all the help it can get.
Oh, brother.
Oh my God.
Oh, bro.
The 3 gigs of RAM is it's tough, but that's where Gamma with your working on the Nano.
Well, the Nano is an interesting one. So let me show you something actually.
Yeah,
but
please.
You might recognize this. Right, a little Pocket Air Mini. I'm waiting on the beat-up condition one, by the way. That should be coming next week, I think. The yellow one.
Ooh, fancy.
But yeah, what I want you guys to do is maybe count how long it takes to boot into Nano, right? So I haven't turned it on yet. This is completely off. I'll probably start counting by the time the screen turns on. So about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go.
Man.
Whoa.
That's really good. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And so, it's very difficult to see on the screen at the moment. Let me see if I can lower the brightness.
Dude, that was snappy, dude.
And chat, for reference, most like a fast Android boot up is usually 15 to 20 seconds. That's considered pretty fast for most handhelds. Yeah. 6 seconds is...
Yeah, the autofocus is screwed on this anyway. But yeah, you can jump straight into a game from here. So if I just want to jump into a SNES game, easily done.
That's it.
And you can see they've got the ambient lighting that's following what's ever on the screen, so which is pretty cool. And if I turn off the device, it does basically what the Linux firmware does. Just takes a save state, shuts it off, then you'll turn it back on. A couple of seconds later, you're back in the game. So pretty cool stuff, and I've done a similar thing with the RG Vitas, with the Pro and the non-Pro, so which is pretty cool. I was quite inspired by the Vita design, so I went for an XMB theme for Nano. So I really like the kind of.
So I saw you had when you released the info on the Pro. So you're working on Nano for the non-Pro as well too.
Yeah. So the cool thing I'm doing here is that I'm bundling Nano into Next. So Gamma OS has so many flavors now. We had the original Gamma OS for the 405M and the 505 back in the day. Then we transitioned onto Gamma OS Core, which is Android TV based for lower end devices. Then Gamma OS Next, which is for the future devices and more powerful ones. And then Nano is basically a special kind of mode that Next now goes into. And it just puts a very minimal amount of services. And as you saw there, I mean, you can strip so much out of Android and boot up near enough instantly, which is pretty cool. So yeah, for the RG Vita Pro, I've actually got an arrangement with Ambernick so that they supply me with dev units pretty early on. And I got to develop the firmware pretty early on. And so by this weekend, I'll be able to release that, publicly free of charge to everybody. For the other devices, those are still under lock and key under the Patreon subscriptions. But yeah, what we want to see is what's the uptake on the RG Vita Pro for Gamma OS, and then we'll talk about where it goes from there in terms of partnerships. So yeah, it's very early days, but pretty cool stuff happening in the background with the companies I'm working with.
Very cool.
It's awesome, man. Just as a fan, thank you, man, because there's so much cool stuff that you do, like you essentially, and these guys are probably gonna roll their eyes. I love the KTR one, and you saved the KTR one. It was cool with everything, but the software was just garbage on it. The stock, right? Until you put Gamma on it. So, and that was one of your early devices, but still, awesome.
It was one of the most painful devices. Back then, it was one of the most painful devices to work with. I've actually grown a lot since then, learned a lot more since then. But the KTR one holds a soft spot because it's nil from KT Pocket. kind of entrusted me with the source code and stuff, and kind of helped me along the way a little bit there. And supplied me with dev units. So yeah, shout out to Nil for helping me out there. He's I think working on the KTR2 at the moment, and he's finalizing.
He's got pre-orders up for it, I think. Yeah,
exactly. So he'll supply me with a unit from there when it's available. I think he's just finalizing some of the hardware quirks. So yeah, looking forward to it there as well.
That is awesome, man. That is freaking awesome, man. Let's cover a couple quick news topics so we can get back to Gamma, because Tula has a really freaking awesome thing to talk about this week, and we were talking about it the other day, and I thought it was just so cool. If you guys saw the notes, we'd get to that, but let's cover a couple news things because I'm curious. What about GKD?
Really quick. I just wanted to give a shout out to Clef because I know he's streaming on Twitch right now. He came by just to say what's up and everybody. So what's up, Clef? Thank you for coming by. Thank you for the +1. Enjoy your stream as well, friend. And I just wanted to give him a shout out real quick.
It's to see Matt without a hat. I don't have that baseball cap. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't think to put one on. I'm still fly. Shut up. So anyway, what about GKD? How do you feel about GKD? You ever do any work with any of those devices? Do you touch them? Are you interested in that stuff? Is it all, is that not your flavor? And the reason why I ask is, have you seen that they have the Ultra 350H? They're re-releasing that.
So it looks good. It looks like a kind of souped-up version of the was Neo Pocket Mini. Micro. That was it. Yeah.
Right.
It looks really nice. I do like the look of it, and I think the screen looks pretty decent as well. So GKD, I have worked with them in the past. What I found was there's a lot of quirks in the way they've implemented some of the hardware, or specifically the firmware. So they have onboard storage for some of these devices, a very minimal, like 128 megabytes. Seems to interfere with a lot of things when you try to run custom OSs. So you might find that GKD devices take a little bit longer to get custom firmware on there, not just Gamma OS generally, but a lot of other devices. With that being said, this looks like it rocks, and I'm hoping to get my hands on one of these at some point. Hopefully I can port some of the Gamma OS love from the other, is it RK3576S? I think this one is.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very similar.
If anyone has a chance to check out this article, that video just has a banging soundtrack. Just a great vibes. I was watching it before stream. I was eating dinner. I was just watching it. Great tunes.
It does.
But what was interesting about this was looking at this handheld. I checked there's a spec sheet if you scroll down a little bit, and you'll see that they mention a 3.5 inch 3x2 display. Yeah. But when you look at the display,
resolution is 4x3. That resolution is a 4x3 resolution.
So it seems like it's just a flub on the the thing. Yeah, because I was looking at the footage of it, and I'm like, that's a 4x3 screen. That ain't 3x2.
Dude, that's exciting though. That's gonna be a sharp little display, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with that high resolution, insane.
Yeah, very
10x GB
615
resolution.
400 PPI is already very, very crispy. That's 150% above that.
And I'm a Game Boy Micro guy, so like this is right up my alley, bro. Like
there you go.
2 gigs of RAM, a Rock chip in it, Linux OS. It's probably going to be anywhere from between $115 to $130, and it's still got a better battery than the freaking Neo Pocket S Mini. Unbelievable.
Do you guys know anything about this RK3576S?
What about it?
You guys know anything about that chipset? I
can tell you it's a basic underclocked version of what's on the RG Vita Pro. And now, performance-wise on the Vita Pro, I think it's fine for most part. Don't expect to play top-tier PS2 games on there. That's all I would say in terms of setting your expectations. I think for what you want to do here, for most 4x3 content, it should be absolutely fine. But double the power of a 3566, I would say, is around at the ballpark.
That's pretty good. Okay. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. And I always have a thing where I'm kind of like, on a 3.5-inch screen, do I really want to play PS2 or GameCube? I'm feeling like a 3.5-inch screen. I'm going to be looking at retro stuff, pixel stuff. I just don't know.
Dude, I say that to myself sometimes, Matt, and then like at the same time, I'm the type of guy that would like try to, if my smartwatch could allow me to play PS2, I'd try it. You know, so I get it, right? Like I'm like, yeah, the screen's too small. Yeah. Like like I said, dude, I was on the Aya Neo DMG playing PlayStation 3 Infamous. Like, I have no business doing it, but I'm doing it, right?
And having that processing overhead just means that it makes everything below those systems just so much smoother. Like you'll be able to
play shaders on shaders,
exactly, and then you'll be able to play your Nintendo 64 with that analog stick, Dreamcast. That's the real benefit. Is we always like to mention the top, like the ceiling, but when the ceiling's higher, there's more room to do everything else. So I think that's
what's the funny thing with the ceiling for me is like I'll mention it. I'll often mention like, oh yeah, I tried PS3 or I tried Switch or this or that. But those are the systems I least emulate. Like I'll try them just to see like, can it be done? Like, yeah, it can be done. And then like next thing I'm back on GBA, and this thing like GBA on a G3X, like you know, like
overkill.
I don't know. We have our faves, right? Like we always go back to those comfort consoles, man. And it's nice to know you have the power over the hood, but at the end of the day, like, are you really gonna use it? It just depends on what you're on, I guess, the form factor of the device and everything like that. Because even like on these things, dude, I'm not playing PlayStation 3, and they can totally do it, right? I'm just not. You know,
and one more benefit of having a more powerful processor is when you underclock it, you get more juice out of it. So everything below that, you get a little more. You get more longevity, better battery life, all that jazz. So all good stuff. You know.
Oh yeah, I definitely
power under the hood.
Definitely agree with you there. I mean, I did that for the T618s a couple of years back. I did a little bit of time lapse video of actually. One of the consoles, I think it was the RG505, lasted nearly 24 hours playing GPU straight, just because if you can underclock it to a very specific amount, you can squeeze a lot out of these machines. So it's insane what you can do as these processes get more efficient. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
I have to derail us. I was gonna follow the new stuff, but I have to ask, how did you get into this, dude? And I know it's one of the questions we had. I know you have a background with this kind of stuff, but where did because Gamma, the first one was for the 505, right? Was that the first one?
4 or 5, yeah, 4 or 5.
Okay, where did that come from? Where did you just get up one day and said, "This sucks. I'm gonna make it better"?
That's exactly what it was. So I was so hyped, right? So I already got a 353V, right? That was great. I love that little console. Then I saw the 405M, and I was like, "Oh my days, right? I need to grab one of this. This looks amazing. Great form factor, metal shell. The great screen, 640 by 480, which integer scales most Genesis games, you could say. I get it in my hand. I turn it on, and then the first thing I notice is the over sharpening, and I'm just like, "What am I looking at?" I tried to live with it for a few days, but it didn't help by the fact that there was also some issues with the refresh rate. So it wasn't 60 hertz; it was something like 62 hertz or something. So you kind of get this over sharpening effect, and then plus, really bad frame pacing. Terrible in games like Sonic if you want to play Sonic 3. You see the cutscenes where this supposed to be smooth scrolling, and as a guy who's played that game a lot in his childhood, you notice it immediately. So I did tinker with Android back in the day when I was at university. It's going back about 15 years now, right? So I thought, okay, maybe I could do the same thing here. Maybe I can just get into this. Now, I didn't realize how much of a pain in the ass it was going to be, because Unisoc devices are super locked down, super fragile, and they'll have a bitch of the moan, basically. If you do even one little thing wrong with them, they'll boot loop. So I ended up bricking my first 405M. Sent it back all the way to sent it back to Ambernick.
A rite of passage.
I sent it back, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with it. Sent it back to Ambernick. They sent me a new one. What's funny is that after that, I figured out how to do the whole custom firmware stuff, and that was great. I released that. A couple of months later, that same package that I shipped back out to Ambernick ended up back at my doorstep. And by that point, I already built. We already had an unbricker ready. So it didn't work initially. I had to kind of do some jiggery pokery with the battery, etc. But eventually got that up and running again and got Gamma OS on it as well. So ended up with 2, 4, and 5 M's at the end of it, which is pretty cool. To be fair, the reason that came back to me was Amplic didn't pay the customs fee when I shipped it back to them. There was an import duty that they had to pay. So that was quite interesting, even though it was a return. So yeah, the 4 or 5M was the catalyst. And then what you end up seeing is people saying to you, oh, Gamma OS, can I get on this device and that device? And so naturally, it just kind of spurs on from there. And you end up with supporting a whole load of devices you didn't think you ever would support. And here you go, you now become a maintainer of this firmware that people can might actually make buying decisions off, if I support a device or not. Which is
absolutely.
Really interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's crazy. This is still a hobby for me. This is a side project. I'm not a developer in my day job by any means. I kind of do more general IT work, infrastructure work, right? And kind of managing teams. Actual application coding and programming firmwares. That's just something I do in my pastime.
No way.
Awesome. That is
because
awesome.
Not only the effectiveness of what you do with Gamma OS, like the DJ Khaled mindset. Talk to us about that, because it's just, you are a shotgun machine of tackling handhelds.
Dude, all right, so DJ Khaled, so this is hilarious. It was completely random. I chose him, right? I think I was watching a video or a music video, and he showed up in it. I'm like, I like his attitude. This guy never takes himself too seriously, or if he does, he's not aware of himself doing that, right? But the guy is absolutely a believer in himself and what he does. I thought that's a great attitude to have. I might as well adopt that persona and personality. So there you go, with DJ Khaled persona, and the guy's a meme machine. Like, he's got hundreds of memes. I don't know if you ever seen him go-karting, but that's a thing as well. He's in, shopping trolleys doing go-karts. It's freaking insane. The guy's a machine.
Oh yeah, I've followed his journey for many years. It's just, icon.
He's a Florida native, so I've been following DJ Khaled forever, right? And man, he was in. I don't know if you guys see, like, I used to watch a bunch of those like old hood movies. Like, he was in Belly before he was like big, and he was skinny. He was standing on the corner selling some CDs in the movie, and but yeah, dude, DJ Khaled, he's been around for a long time, and he's huge in South Florida, and he's also a shoe freak like me, so. I tend to follow him, but he's hilarious. I think that's a great meme, and it is funny because he is a meme machine. Like, there's little that he does that does not get memed. So
no, absolutely. I think it's
very true.
I think that's a good way to live life. Don't take yourself too seriously. I think have a bit of fun,
dude.
Have fun. That's exactly the way I look at it.
I agree. So I have a question for you, actually. What are your plans with, or if you have plans, like with some of the more powerful chipsets, like Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 devices, or like now the 8 Elite devices coming? Like, do you have plans on bringing Gamma over to these devices? Because I know I felt for a while that what you're doing is, like, to me at least, it seems like you like to squeeze as much power out of the low end devices as possible. And granted, like, that's what we need it most. But out of curiosity, I can't help but wonder, like, do you think about dipping into like the Odins and these other devices?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually got a lineup of Odin devices ready to start working on. So let me give you a bit of a peek into my mindset. When Gamma OS started, it was mainly to fix problematic firmwares, right? Problematic devices with bad firmwares. And slowly over time, I'm trying to transition away from that to actually Gamma OS provides more quality of life features and updates that manufacturers wouldn't normally have in their firmwares. Global shaders, global BFI, global EQ, so forth and so forth, right? Things that you wouldn't normally see, and I'm continuing to build upon that foundation. For me, the Retroid and AYNs, they're the gold standard of what I think it looks like a good firmware. And for me, there was a sense of an urgency to work on those devices. They were in a pretty good state already. So I'm not, if I am working on these devices, it's not to save it, but it's actually to add to it, improve what's on there already. So now I think Gamma OS is in a state that I think it's now worthwhile porting to these devices and putting the firmware on there. And so the next releases are going to be targeted around the RP5, the RP Mini V2, Odin 2 Portal, O2 Free, the 4. This is probably going to happen in the next couple of weeks. For the 4, I've been doing some experimentation where, right now there's a limitation in Android where you can't drive 2 displays with separate refresh rates. So you can't have a 60 hertz display at the bottom screen and 120 hertz at the top. You could do one or the other. Now, AYN, they've done some stuff where they kind of simulate 120 hertz at the bottom, but you get screen tearing. I've actually gone ahead and tweaked it and modified the underlying source code of the OS that actually allows independent, driving of these refresh rates. So it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people might not notice it, maybe they will, but there has been a demand. People have been asking for it, so which is pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that out pretty soon. Need to finalize some stuff there. Yeah.
Freaking animal, man.
That's
awesome.
exciting.
He's listening. So cool. He's talking about all these devices, and all I'm hearing in the back of the head is what Monto's saying. Another one. Right? Like the dude's a savage, man. Just RP5. That's awesome, man. That's how you said something that made me think. What is probably the most requested feature you get from people asking, can this be added to Gamma? Can that? And so is there something that people ask for all the time that's just like that you don't think it's feasible, or you just try to make everything work, or like, do you have a limit?
Well, all right. So, I mean, most recently, I would say is the screen mapping stuff. I didn't have that for a long time. Now, in the next Gamma OS release, you'll be able to do that map, your virtual screen to your joysticks, which is pretty cool. But what I'm getting more requests is around, charging limits. Can you set charging limit to 80%? Or could you do charging bypass or power bypass, whatever it is, and things like that? I need to investigate to see if that's even feasible, because that might be dependent on the hardware itself. So I got a lot of requests around that. But to be honest, I think most people will be quite pleasantly surprised with Gamma OS release 1.3. I think there will be a lot to enjoy. And we'll see what other requests will come after that. What about you guys? I mean, is there any particular requests that you guys are after?
So funny you say that, and you spoke to it lightly, the screen mapping. I mean, for those that don't understand what that is, right? If I understand it right when I was reading about it, so I'm going to set the screen mapping for my onboard controls. Then I'm going to plug my Bluetooth 1X Fly, Fly Digi Apex to it, and it's going to be mapped the same way that I had it mapped on the controller itself, right?
Yeah,
How
so that's
awesome
what
is that, dude?
Yes,
that is freaking awesome.
Really
that's
cool.
exactly it. So Russ was asking me about this. So he mentioned it in our Vita video he dropped today. And so, yeah, we've got a capability now where you can map external controllers, and the device just thinks it's the same controller internally, which is pretty cool. And then you've kind of got the ability to map the buttons to on-screen functions, which is pretty cool as well. You got mouse mode as well that gets enabled if you hold down like select R1. There's so much customizability now on Gamma OS in terms of the controller mappings and stuff. So I think it'll cater to everybody. You can swap axis, you can swap buttons around, you can swap the joysticks around, do whatever the hell you want. Words the oyster.
That's so sick.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
and one thing that I want to mention, if it isn't clear, is that having Gamma OS on all these different devices means that the experience is similar. The experience, you're not going from one random experience to another random experience. Like the experience is very much similar, and that is a huge benefit, because when you have random devices that have vastly different OSs, yeah, it's crazy.
It's definitely a challenge to make an OS that fits all sizes, right? All kinds of machines, right? So the benefit that the manufacturers have is they tailor their firmware specifically to the device. I've got to build the firmware that I can easily port to other devices, and I've now built Gamma OS in such a way it's quite modular. So I could enable or disable functionality depending on what device it's targeting, which is pretty cool now. Something that you don't normally see in Android. So the degree of customization is really insane compared to a normal stock Android or Lineage OS. So yeah, it's Lineage on steroids is the way I would look at it.
Crazy. And so when you first did you always have this plan to bring it to many devices and to make it modular in order to do that, or did that sort of come out of just natural growth or necessity? Like, where along the lines did you decide to take that approach?
Yeah, so this is quite interesting because when I first started with Gamma OS, it wasn't modular at all. I was building basically different versions of Gamma OS for different devices. That's such a time sink, and it makes it really hard to port devices in a timely manner. I think I kind of got along to that point when I started doing the Gamma OS core releases. I started modularizing it at that point. The core wasn't fully modularized. There was still some quirkiness around there. Next is where we're kind of taking that leap. So right now, what you'll see from me is I'm probably going to work on the kind of the mainline features of Gamma OS. And then I'll shift away from the mainline OS development and then start looking at the porting work, which is basically really rapid. And I did this in December last year where I kind of just started releasing one after the other of many devices. You know, a whole bunch of devices just dropped at once. You're going to see something similar in the next couple of weeks where I'm just going to drop for a whole bunch of devices like really rapidly. So it's that kind of modularization that I'm working on behind the scenes that enables me then to quickly port to other devices. So that, yeah, it was definitely out of necessity. There's no way I would have been able to do what I'm doing today without that intense work that went behind the scenes.
That's awesome. So Green Protag wants to know if there's a way to unify save states between Gamma OS devices and the apps to run all the devices. So kind of like a sync thing built into Gamma so that he can jump across devices. Anything like that you've ever thought about or in the works or anything?
Can't think about it. I mean, it could just integrate something like SyncThing, and have good cloud saves. We need to think about how to manage the storage and security and things like that. To be honest, so with the latest release of Gamma OS, SyncThing will be fully open now. You'll be able to sync any folder. Right now, there's quite a couple of restrictions in place, but hopefully, going forward, there wouldn't be any such restrictions. Android's got this whole storage access framework stuff, which is really annoying. It kind of limits what you can do in terms of exploring the files and copying files, accessing the files on your storage. I kind of just killed a lot of that layer of obfuscation and security. For a gaming console, you don't need it. For a gaming console, you just want to jump in the games, you do what you want to do, no barriers to entry. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, maybe in the future I'll include something like SyncThing, but I think for most part, I think most people will probably just install SyncThing themselves and probably synchronize the saves as they see fit.
I have a question for you. So on certain Android devices, you're capable of swapping your SD card storage and your internal storage. Is there a way that you can implement that on Gamma OS for devices that don't allow that? So like, say we get a device that has 64 gigs built in and I want to throw a 1 terabyte card in, can I swap that to be the internal card now or be utilized as such, at least with Gamma?
So well, Gamma OS, you still have the ability to use adopted storage. So essentially you get your card, plug it in, and Android will format it a certain way that basically it pairs to your device, and that just acts like an extended version of the internal storage. So yeah, that's possible. I do know in the past there were scripts and stuff that allow you to basically swap what is the primary storage. Technically, you could do that. There's nothing stopping you from doing that actually right now with the root access that Gamma OS provides by default. And so you could run root scripts or run modules via Magisk to be able to do those kind of things. So yeah, I would say that's more of a power user kind of flow, but definitely, I don't see why it's not possible.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome, especially for app data and stuff like that, because that's where the biggest limitations come in, right? Is that app data gets filled up so quick on these small internals And power users, sure, yeah, we know how to tinker around and mess with that stuff. But if it was something that was implemented like into the settings or something like that, to where it was like a one-time tap thing, where they wouldn't have to go through all these root scripts and using Magisk and things like that, it would just be front and center and easy for a non-power user to get to.
Yeah. Usually you do get the option. So at least in Gamma OS, where you pop in the SD card, you will have the option to actually adopt the storage and use it as internal. So there is the option to do it without having root scripts.
When I set up these devices, I'm usually like mashing through real quick, so I probably like skipped a few things. It's kind of like when I play RPG games and the guy's giving you the quest, and you're like, just come on, just send me on my way.
Yeah.
So, something I was thinking about, okay, so 477M running Gamma,
yes.
right? Is it on Gamma already? Before I asked, for an added feature and I missed it, is there a way to set custom fan profiles on some of these devices that are super noisy, that have fans that are running Gamma? So I read somewhere somebody said if this thing could be set to like an 80%, then it wouldn't be so loud. Because when this thing gets going, it's like a jet engine, right? So is that something you ever thought about, or
it's something I thought about
devices that are loud? Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely it's something I thought about. And right now, without basically, you'd have to use ADB and scripts and stuff like that to be able to set the custom band profile if you really want to do. But in the future, I do want to expose a way, and this is kind of going back to the complications. How do you adapt to firmware for multiple devices? How do you set a fan speed for different kind of hardware profiles?
Right.
It's something that I do want to look at, though. But right now, I kind of got the off, medium, and high profiles.
Right. Right.
What I can do is maybe expose a field or something, or a setting that allows you to override what's ever been triggered in terms of the fan speed.
Or maybe if you can implement a slider, like a slider with a percentage scale, and maybe because then that could probably be. I mean, I don't know how it works at the coding level, but maybe that would be able to be utilized across all devices with fans, because it's just a slider all the way across.
That's pretty good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's doable.
I have so my buddy Silicon Fox here, he's a big Android guy. I don't know if he's napping right now because he's been so quiet. And but I'm curious on what you would have to say with Gamma having such a big figure in the Android community, and you being an Android dev and messing around with Android a lot yourself. Like what questions do you have for him in Gamma OS? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, bro.
No, it's all good. I've just been listening, man. Just everything you said, I've really enjoyed hearing about. As he introduced for me, I am a huge Android guy, but more so on the game side. So like I work with the games on Android, and I always appreciate having more options. Never gonna frown at that. I guess for me, what I would posit to you is, like, how do you overall enjoy working with Android? Like, which version do you work with by chance? Is it like the later ones?
So right now we're 14 at the moment. 14? Yeah. Okay. 15 and 16. I haven't really delved in yet. So there's a reason for that, and it's the increasing minimum requirements to run these versions. I don't really want to bog down the performance of these devices. I thought 14 is a nice middle ground, kind of easy to work with. In the future, I may have to bump it up depending on the hardware. But that being said, I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Yeah, that's about kind of where I'm at right now. I'm mostly doing my work with 14. I actually prefer some of the older versions of Android. Well, I'm mostly like 13 and around 13, 12 is fine. But I know you've been running into it too, like the increased requirements, the platform DRM. I've been having this weird issue. So in the games that I'm working with, I noticed that as I move through different Android versions, even on like some of the same platforms, some like features of the chipsets, they become available or they stop being available. And like, for example, on 8 Gen 2 devices, when I'm making games, if I'm on, let's say, Android 13, then any 8 Gen 2 device won't display shadows, right? But if I move to Android, but if I move to Android 14 on the same device, I get shadows in the projects I'm making. And I'm just curious, do you run into that at all on your side of work?
Yeah, you kind of get this kind of iffiness. I've seen this in Rockchip quite a lot, actually, interestingly. But what you're describing is basically the hardware HWC, so hardware compositor. That was it. So the graphics drivers essentially change between the versions of Android, and so it could be that there's some difference, in the minutiae of how the drivers have been set up between the two versions of Android. And certainly, it's probably from Qualcomm themselves who supply the drivers. They probably made some differences in the fourth version for Android 14. Now, what I try to do is I try to backport some of these drivers into the version of Androids that I supply. And so you might see me mention it a few times. Like for the Pocket Air Mini, for example, I ported the Android 12 driver instead of Android 11. I think it ships to Android 11 normally. Now, I bumped this up to Android 14, but I still had to make some kind of tweaks and hacks to make the driver work fully for Android 14 because there's actually a lot of crashing going on, but I kind of mitigated a lot of that. But certainly, yeah, I think you've described something I've seen before. Definitely, the difference in libraries between the two Android versions can vary quite a fair bit.
It's a huge pain. I'm gonna have to get with you offline about that driver backporting because that's very interesting. I could definitely learn and use that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. I see a question here. Update for Gamma OS RG557 as 1.26. I just dropped the stock firmware today. I've had a couple of people confirm that the new firmware works for the new displays. So just for a bit of context, the Ambernic released a version of the 557, a silent revision, which has a new screen, and didn't tell me or tell anybody. And they didn't supply me with a new unit. And so what ended up happening was people were installing Gamma OS on this new revision and ended up with no display at all. And so tracking down the files that I needed to make an unbricker for that version has been horrendous because not many people actually have the stock firmware. And Ambernic won't supply that to me. So I had to go find somebody to try and dump it, and I had to try and make it retrofit the firmware into a package that works. Wow. And so finally got around to finalizing that today. And so yeah, I'm happy to report that's all sorted now. So I'm hoping to bring Gamma OS to those devices as well. But this is the kind of minutiae I'm talking about. Is try to keep up the rat race there. It's a bit difficult, and you'll end up always falling behind. But you can try the best you can and try and make things as portable as you can. But yeah, there's always going to be a challenge.
You're muted. You're muted, Matt.
Ooh. My bad. What's been your favorite device to develop for?
Ooh. To developer, huh? Well, look, I think it's the 476H. I really like that device. I really thought the 477M would be the successor to 405M, but I actually find that I'm not comfortable playing it as much as I thought it would be compared to 405M. Funny enough, the 476H is the one that I play with the most. Unfortunately, my son stole it from me. I have no idea where the hell it is. I mean, Sonic Trouble on it, so I need to go find it from him because I do need to do a Gamma OS update on there. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite devices at the moment, especially with the 120 hertz screen, 4x3, great size. And I think for that chipset, what I will say is about Unisoc devices, they have great battery life in general compared to other chipsets that I've worked with. It's in between some MediaTek chipsets and Unisoc for sure. But yeah, 476H, one of my favorites at the moment.
Dope. So I'm assuming that's one of your favorites to game on as well, too.
Oh yeah. So
what are you playing on it? What are you gaming? What's your favorite genre of game to play?
Ooh, I'm a platformers guy. So you'll catch me playing like Crash Bandicoot, Super Mario, Sonic, etc. Nice. All of those things. Yeah. So right now I'm kind of going through Crash Bandicoot at the moment. I'm playing Crash Bandicoot 2 again. I'm trying to show the little guy, he's 6 years old. So I'm trying to show him, hey, this is what I used to play, right? And he's looking at me like, that's lame. Come on, man. What are these good garbage graphics? But no,
they have no respect for these games, dude. It's hilarious.
Respect your elders.
He comes around and he goes, no, actually, this is pretty fun. Right. And actually, me and him have been visiting a lot of retro conventions, retro gaming stores. And there's one nearby our house, but 20 minutes drive, which is really, really cool, called Forgotten Worlds. I think it's one of the largest retro gaming stores in the UK. And yeah, we kind of make a ritual to go there once a month. So yeah, I'm trying to rope him into the SNES stuff and the Genesis and the Game Boys. So it's working. I think he enjoys that more than the current consoles anyway. So yeah,
do you
cool
have
stuff.
a favorite platform of all time?
Ooh. That's a really tough question. But I've always been into portable gaming. It's got to be Game Boy Advance. I think that is...
Dude, hell yeah, bro. That's me all day, bro.
That library of games is insane. Oh yeah, so this is Forgotten Words. It's actually gotten bigger now since this video. They've opened up a new section of the store. I think they took over a retail.
Wow.
So it's gone
this
even
looks
bigger.
Incredible.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, he told me about this place. Like, what did you tell me about this 5 or 6 months ago? And I've been watching videos on it.
This is the Valhalla of retro gaming.
Yeah,
oh man, it's insane. They've got imports. They've got all kinds of retro consoles. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are going to be some things that are really overpriced for what they are, but you will get some gems if you look closely, and if you want something in the pinch, really, really cool stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, really enjoy going there. I do need to make another trip. And then there's other kind of retro gaming conventions we have here in the UK as well. So we've got one coming up in June or July, which is going to be pretty big, nearby where I live. And I think another one at the end of the year. So yeah, all cool stuff.
Awesome. That is pretty dope, man. What else we got for you? What's been the hardest device to develop for?
RGDS.
Really?
RGDS is very interesting, right? It's the dual screen stuff has really been something that I didn't expect to be handling this early on. And the problem with the RGDS was the 40 hertz bug, refresh rate bug. They had that, and then the touch latency as well, which is really problematic. Without any sources, I'm going into I'm doing reverse engineering, decompilation, stuff like that, looking at the kernel source code to try and fix all of this stuff, which is really, really interesting. Sorry, one moment. And so, yeah, I remember when the early reviews dropped and people were talking about the reviewers talk about the 40 hertz problem. I already resolved it at that point, but I was in contact with Van Bernick, who were also soliciting me for advice around this as well. And so they were also soliciting advice from Rockchip at the same time. So I think we ended up essentially telling Ambernick the same thing. You need to look at this part of your firmware to sort it out. And so, yeah, it's interesting how that all came about. And so, yeah, they did some work there, and I could see the changes that they've made, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, the RGDS has definitely been one of the more problematic devices, especially for trying to play, DS games upscale. The stock firmware has issues with that. I did the best I can to optimize it, and so what you'll see is that with upscaling games, it performs better on Gamma OS compared to stock firmware. Rock Lake speeds out of the park because they have a modded kernel and they have a kind of a low overhead on their system, which is all great. But for where it kind of started off with the stock firmware and where Gamma OS got it to, I had to do a bit of innovation there with the dual stack mode, for example, to combine the two screens into one virtual screen. That was one thing I had to do as well to try and reduce the input latency. There are a lot of hacks basically I had to do to make that thing work. But that's definitely one of the more challenging ones.
Yeah, you got super creative on that. That was a very unique. That was one of the most unique twists of Android I've seen in a long time. Implementing the dual stack. So what was your process in approaching especially with these dual screen handhelds? It's such a new beast. I think a lot of people don't realize how different it is having Android on 2 screens. A lot of people see it as just, it's just 2 screens instead of 1. It's great.
Yeah.
For you, it's a whole other beast. Tell us about it.
It's a whole other beast because, you look at stock Android or Lineage OS stock, right? It doesn't really have a framework to properly manage a device that has 2 internal screens. It has a framework to manage, 1 internal screen and 1 external, HDMI, right? Fine, whatever. But seriously, I've had to implement a lot of additional features to make the secondary screen work as it should. There are some actually incomplete features I haven't enabled in RGDS, but this is things like full taskbar, etc., and full window management on the second screen, where it kind of works always completely independently, which is pretty cool. But I've disabled it because the overhead on the RGDS was just killing it. Like, there's not enough headroom for the RAM or the CPU, but absolutely just obliterated any performance on the device, unfortunately. But keep your eyes peeled for this one for the 4. I think there'll be some good stuff in there compared to what the 4 can do at the moment.
That's dope. Yeah. So Green Protag wanted to know, have you messed around with Game Native at all, and any x86 emulation in Gamma? Have you messed around with any of that?
I've only done a very light game on Game Hub, just to see if it works, to be honest. To be honest, I really do want to do more stuff around Game Hub and Game Native, etc. But I think I would probably be better placed doing that on the Snapdragon devices. There isn't really much I could do here on MediaTek and Unisocs, etc. Just because of the Mali GPUs. They're always going to have a disadvantage compared to the Snapdragons, unfortunately. So yeah, to be honest, I don't really have much of a huge library in terms of PC gaming. Most of my library is basically the consoles that I currently have.
Which consoles?
Oh, so we've got an Xbox One. What was I going to say? PS5, yeah, there we go. And the Switch 2, of course. And so, yeah, kind of rotation between them. Mostly playing the Switch 2 at the moment. On the Switch 2, we're kind of messing about with the new handheld boost settings for the Switch 1 games, which kind of gives you enhanced resolutions.
Nice.
So my 6-year-old's really hyped about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, so we're replaying Super Mario Galaxy, the port that came out for the Switch 1.
Such a great idea, dude.
Yeah, so we're playing that at the moment. So he's having a really great time and just enjoying the visuals on there, etc., and just the gameplay. Really, really great game.
That is awesome.
So I have a question. Gamma OS is based off of Lineage OS. Why did you choose Lineage over like AOSP or any other project?
I like there's some kind of quality of life features I think Lineage bought that I quite enjoyed. Plus, I also like the aspect of de-Googling a lot of stuff. For me, I'm not anti-Google, but I'm anti-bloat. And what you'll see me is that I prefer to use stuff without Google services personally. So I like the idea of a fork of AOSP, which is Lineage OS, and they kind of maintain it separately. They've got their own patches and security updates, etc. And the way things are going with Google at the moment and them locking down side loading, it might be one of the more wiser decisions I've made, I think, going based off that.
That's actually, I'm happy you brought that up because of the fact of the route that Google is taking with Android here in the future is the reason I was asking you about bringing Gamma over to some of the more high-end devices as, some like just some protection for us gamers, right? Who don't really need all that. I guess they're doing it for security purposes or whatever they want to, label it as, but these are just gaming devices for us. So, we need our emulators and we need to be able to sideload or get into USB debugging or developer mode without having to go and file a request with them and go through all that. So, dude, how do you feel like how has that impacted you? Like, does it make you want to push more?
Well, I think so. There's two things to this, right? So they're not locking us out completely. They're just making it a pain in the ass to basically sideload stuff. I don't know if you've seen the process, but you essentially have to confirm a few times on your phone and restart it a few times to confirm. Oh, you want to sideload stuff, right? And then you have to leave it for 24 hours and then confirm again before it lets you sideload. Huge pain in the ass, right? And try to discourage people from doing that. There's also, banking gaps, etc. Actually detect whether or not you have developer mode enabled, and they'll refuse to function if you do have those enabled. So I see it like there's an ecosystem. I think Google's version of Android is trying to fit into that ecosystem for the corporate world, etc., and the enterprise world, where they're trying to make sure they conform to standards, etc., that they need to, at the expense of the flexibility that Android provides today. And I get why they're doing that. They're trying to maybe shift more into that market share, and maybe kind of cut into Apple's market share a little bit more. At the same time, I don't think it's necessarily going to impact our hobby. I think this really impacts more devices that are Google Play certified. I've gone through the proper full certification process with Google. So there are devices out there, the AYNs, etc. They're not actually Google certified in that sense, and I don't think they'll be affected by the same problem. With that being said, I think as we kind of go up into higher versions of Android, I'm not really sure the direction that AOSP itself will take. Not Google's version of Android, but just AOSP. Yeah. What's going to happen there? We don't know. That's unknown. And so I think Lineage OS is pretty good in that regard. That they'll probably pull all the latest functionality, features, code base, and strip out all the crap that might lock us down a little bit further, and being able to make things a little bit more flexible. That being said, these manufacturers, what they end up doing, they'll get a board support package from the likes of Qualcomm, etc., which is basically the source code for the firmware for the Android build. It's up to them if they want to customize it and actually remove that lockout capability that Google might introduce. So there might be hope yet, but it remains to be seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess it's kind of like what we went through years ago when everybody started locking down the bootloaders, and certain companies like 1X, not one, 1X or OnePlus. I'm sorry, like OnePlus, we're giving you an option to opt out and have your unlocked bootloader and things like that. Yeah. Next question for you. You've implemented custom performance profiles like max power, power save, governor tweaks, GPU driver swaps, and even like system-wide audio EQ. Which one of these customizations was the most challenging to get right, and why?
Global BFI is one of the hardest ones I've had to do. Because every device seems to have unique characteristics on how it handles the processing of the display. MediaTek's particularly challenging in that regard. Their display driver stack, LCM, whatever you want to call it, has some quirkiness basically in how they manage refresh rates. And so I had to implement a bunch of really hacky workarounds essentially to force it into this kind of fixed 120 hertz rate, so that then you kind of get a consistent BFI without flickering. What was happening is they implemented some power saving, you could say, to kind of scale down the refresh rate as fast as they can when there isn't much movement on the screen. But BFI kind of needs it to be enforced so that you have 120 hertz constantly. So that was one of the more difficult ones to work with, definitely. But on that subject, I would say the other challenge I had was just generally around the EQ stuff. I think every device, has a different way to process the audio signals and the audio drivers. But I've managed to figure out a way to kind of do it at such a level where it's done just before we transmit the audio to the speakers. The service called Audio Flinger on Android. Basically do it at that level and override basically whatever the EQ is, and we inject our own, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty awesome.
For the people who maybe are less technical, could you tell us what is global BFI? And
So,
and how does that everything? Because we're giga super nerds, but some other people might want to know about that feature.
So BFI is basically inserts dark and black frames every second frame or so, depending on which device you have and how the refresh rate is. But for assumption, let's just say 120 hertz. Every second frame will be a black frame, and what that does is it improves the motion clarity at the expense of brightness on your display. But what you end up with is a motion clarity similar to a CRT display. So if you had a look at playing, let's say, Sonic 3 on a CRT, you notice that Sonic moves left and right. There's not really any blurriness. Everything remains sharp. You can make out the background. You can make out all the different individual elements and the pixels, etc. On a typical display, like LCD, you might get a bit of smearing there. With BFI, it forces the display to refresh in such a manner where it kind of reduces that smearing and makes it really minimal, and you end up with a really nice kind of motion. But again, some people are sensitive to the fact that it reduces brightness. As a result, you're inserting the black frame every second frame. Also, a bit of flickering depending on the refresh rate as well, and depending on the device and the display type as well. So it's not for everybody. For me, I love it. And global BFI has been really useful for me playing Android games that you don't have it in RetroArch. You don't have RetroArch, so you might have play something like Sonic Triple Trouble, for example. That's a nice little port I've been playing quite a lot. Yeah, so global BFI has been great on there, along with global shaders on top of that, so I get a nice CRT effect, which I love playing.
And in combining those, you get the CRT motion clarity with with overlays. Super sick, and that's global, so that applies to everything, like you're saying, Android games too. These are just some really cool features that when you see like all of the Gamma OS features, you might not fully understand, but then you experience it, and then you see like what's going on, and that's really badass.
What I do need to do, and I'll put my hands up to this, is I do need to help myself with the marketing stuff, like in terms of promoting the functionality, the features of Gamma OS, and have our proper guides and how to read me's and stuff like that. It's very hard to do as a one man, who's kind of balancing so many priorities at the moment. Because right now my focus is just delivering the functionality and the features themselves, and actually getting Gamma OS onto as many devices as possible and try to support them as much as I can as well. So that is very difficult to juggle along with updating the documents and the wikis, etc. But it's something I do hope to do in the future, or if maybe I'll find some volunteers to try and help with that. But certainly, there could be a lot more, a lot more guides explaining what Gamma OS can do and what can do compared to stock firmwares.
Yeah, that would be nice. A nice showcase. Yeah.
We mentioned it earlier in the show, but if you're interested in checking out Gamma OS, he's got a Patreon and also a newer Discord that you should definitely come join.
I'm happy you said that, and I'm also happy Gamma said, as far as how difficult it is as a one-man development team. So, with that being said, we often hear that development, especially development within the emulation scene, is a thankless service. And I know it could become overwhelming, and you take on so many projects at once. Do you ever get to a point where like you just want to stop?
That's something I've learned in my professional career, and I've applied it to here as well. If I'm at the point of burnout, I will take a step back. I'll probably go quiet for a few days. It's fine. That's just me recharging my batteries, essentially, and reprioritizing and choosing what I want to work on. For me, what I have to do is try and balance this so it's still fun for me and not a chore to work on this. And so this is cool. Like, this Gamma OS Nano stuff is a new concept for me. I get to work on something that's wow, right? Okay, this has never been done before. How far can I push the envelope there? What can I do that's unique that nobody else has really done? So that's the kind of cool stuff that keeps me motivated. And, you guys will be able to take advantage of that once I release the next firmware. but yeah, it's always been a challenge, especially when you get a lot of feedback. And feedback is always welcome. Feedback is a gift, but certainly you do get a lot of feedback that's quite similar, and you can't get bogged down. And so this is part of my probably weaknesses around the communication strategy. I need to find a way to be able to broadcast, my thoughts. Or my updates in a manner that everybody can receive them, and kind of look back upon, which is part of the reason why I created the Gamma OS Discord in the first place. I was getting pinged from so many channels, Twitter, or X, or YouTube, Reddit, various Discord servers, so forth and so forth, and GitHub as well. I'm thinking, right, how do I streamline all of this, because this is getting intense. So the Gamma OS Discord will help bridge that gap, and what I do plan to do is advertise that a lot more. As I do the new releases, etc. Hey guys, come here. You'll be able to find the answers that you're looking for. And hopefully we'll build up a community there where, it's not only me just answering questions.
But you get members that want to actually help each other, right? That's super beneficial. I think also too, it's the thing that you said, socials by themselves can end up being a job, like keeping up with socials. And do you want to prioritize keeping up with socials, or do you want to prioritize getting more development done? And I think that's where you have to find that balance. So I think you moving over to a Discord will be really beneficial, because you will find those community members who are more engaged, that do want to help each other out and work with each other, or give each other tips that you don't really have to step in for. I also do want to mention that we'll be sure to update the description of this video to put the Gamma OS Discord in there, and we'll also, if you guys want to, and you guys feel in your heart that you want to help support Gamma with all the hard work he's doing, we'll also place his Patreon in there, because he's doing a lot of good work and covering a lot of devices, and it's a lot.
I appreciate that. I'll share the link as well with you guys after I go. I think the Discord's going to be a really cool thing, and I'm already seeing the benefit of it. Just people chiming in, people sharing ideas and helping each other, which is really, really great to see. I wish I could respond to everybody. Sometimes you'll find that I won't be able to respond just because I'm locked in basically in development, and I can't get myself distracted too much. Eventually, I will kind of come up above the water to breathe and kind of say hi, pop up, and maybe help out with a thing or two. But I do generally like to see where this is going.
So I have a personal bias question for you, because what is your favorite front end? Because I feel like it's Daijisho.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not the biggest fan of Daijisho. So I'm just curious, because I know that you generally configure it with your Gamma builds. So I was wondering, is that your favorite front end?
I like Daijisho. Like, by no means is it perfect, right? Don't get me wrong. I bundle in because it's quite well known. It's freely available. I do understand people want to install like Cocoon or Console Launcher or ESDE, which is great. But for me, I'm just so used to using Daijisho, and I'm not saying I would, stick with it forever. If there's something that pops along, which I think might be better suited for Gamma OS, then great. What I didn't want to do is reinvent the wheel and put in my own launcher and have yet another thing to maintain. It was easier for me to take something that already exists and just tweak it so to an extent where it's kind of more ready out of the box experience. What a lot of people don't realize, and this is part of my documentation failure, is that actually I've set up Daijisho in the way in Gamma OS that you can actually just take a ROM's SD card out of a Linux build, pop it in your Gamma OS, sync it, and actually just pull in all the folders automatically. You don't need to add them in manually, which is pretty cool. So I use that.
No, I do like that you pre-configure it. Like, that's super, super helpful. And I was just teasing. I like the guys who follow me or know me. They know that I'm like, I don't care for front ends at all. So, I was just teasing, but I was just curious if that was your favorite. Yeah,
I enjoy using it. I think it's absolutely cool. And that being said, you're not locked into anything on Gamma OS. The first version of Gamma OS, you are, but not anymore. Definitely not. Change it to however you like.
Who's this guy?
Here comes trouble. Who left the back door open?
You bring this guy.
Man.
You bring this guy with you.
Man, I just wanted to say, Gamma Man, just cheers to you and all the hard work you've been putting in. I don't know how you do it. I can't. I can barely keep up with all your updates. I can't imagine having to actually do all the updates. It's crazy. You're always dropping in my DMs. You're like, "Hey, the new beta is ready for this and that." I'm like, "My God, this man's a maniac for sure. He's dancing like he's never danced before."
Well, that's the DJ Khaled personality. Take that energy from DJ Khaled, right?
Yeah. Lobster. We're doing lobster. Bring out the lobster.
That's
oh my gosh. Yeah. I love it.
Anyways, hope you guys are doing good, and I've been watching the episode, and it's good times. So
hey, thank you for chilling, Stubbs. Thank you for popping by.
Stopping in, brother.
Always appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man. And I gotta ask Monto, what's the dog sticker on the RGDS? Who is that dog?
I was just looking for stickers because I also have a white RGDS, and there was a point where there's a whole day where I didn't know which one was mine and which was yours. So at one point I just decided to just put a sticker on one and send you that one. So
I was gonna say we need to see this dog sticker. Okay.
I just found I found a sticker in my sticker drawer.
It looks just like my dog Zoe. So it's amazing. And you got to get the grip from JC Studios, JCSFY on Etsy, man. They make the best RGDS grip ever. And it has a stylus holder right there too. Look at that.
There we go. That's what it needs.
Stylus holder right in the bottom.
I hope it's for the good ones. I hope it's for the good stylus.
It is. It'll fit whatever you want.
They know ball.
It's wide enough. All right, see you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Funny. Great. Hey, so Vegan said that we're throwing out some legit questions, and I feel like that's the perfect segue for Vegan's favorite topic, for the most legit question of questions. You ready? You ready, Gamma?
Go on.
Pinto bands, all black bands, all black bands, pinto bands, all black bands, all.
Every time we have a new guest on, we have to have the guest. We have to ask the guest this question. If you had to choose that you can't sit on the fence, you have to pick pinto beans or black beans. If you can only pick one, you can't sit on the fence. You got to pick one. Pinto beans or black beans. There's only one right answer. Okay.
So. You put me to the spot. Black beans.
Yes, sir.
Black beans.
Gosh.
Yeah. Take it, Matt. Take it, brother.
Black beans, I gotta say black
beans, baby. Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm a burrito any day.
You're a real one. You're a real one, Gamma.
Gamma, we are no longer friends.
It's nice while it lasted.
Hey, that's great. I love that.
I love it, dude. I love it. We had talked earlier, and I should have confirmed with you. We talked about a question of the day. Do you have something you want to ask us?
What was the first retro handheld that kind of got you going, wow, we're in the golden age of emulation? I have one in mind, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Now, is it any handheld, or is it just?
Yeah. It can be your first handheld. It can be something, something that just makes you go, whoa, right? This is amazing. Look at how far we've come in terms of emulation, etc.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I have a show and tell.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh!
So I'll show you my first.
It's not gold spandex, right?
There's a reason you can only see chest up. So my first actual retro handheld is something that if anybody knows ball, you'll know this little fella. Yes, sir. It's the Dingu A320.
Yeah,
this is an OG.
Isn't that older than you are? That device?
Yeah,
Hey, that thing is super
just a
clean
tadpole
for its age. Like, man,
yeah.
I know it's only just it has like a couple light scratches, but it's still it is bricked. It's fully bricked. I bricked it trying to install custom firmware.
It's okay. It's just shelf candy now anyway.
Yeah.
But this was this was the reason I bricked it was because I was trying to install custom firmware on it, and you needed Windows XP to install it, and I had Windows Vista. And Windows Vista bricked it because it wasn't XP.
Wow.
But this thing struggled to run some Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah.
It was that era. It was that era.
And it couldn't handle SNES either.
It couldn't handle SNES, especially that like 3D chip in the SNES, the high end.
I remember. I mean, like basic stuff on the SNES, it couldn't handle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so in some of my like this was far before I started making videos about retro handhelds, but in some of my like early YouTube videos, I mentioned that, you know, back in my day, we had handhelds that couldn't run GBA well.
Yeah.
And people were like, what do you mean? That's crazy. That doesn't make sense. So that was like my first actual retro handheld. Before that, I did the Pandora mod, the Pandora battery mod on the PSP. I was modding the battery. And I put like Rockbox on an iPod video. And yeah, I was like doing, you know, running
Doom
like games on here. Yeah, I was running Doom on here.
Yeah, I remember that, dude.
So pretty much like I just always had like the spider tingly sense to just hack whatever technology you put in my hands. If it has a screen, I want to jailbreak it. Yeah. So
dude, that's
I think Gamma has a similar mindset.
Yeah, I think he has that bug.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Who's gonna go next? Who's gonna go next?
I'll go next if Jeeves don't want to.
You go, man. Go ahead.
All right. For me, I would say, I mean, yeah, PSP was big, but I think the one that really like I was like, oh my god, this is legit. It was the NVIDIA Shield, the clamshell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
dude, good. That thing right there, and then having that full controller, like I was just like, God, like this is the future. You know, I felt like I was a time traveler, man. Like it was amazing. So I think NVIDIA Shield, the clamshell, that changed everything for me and sent me down. But I was always like, dude, I've been using Android since its inception, right? Like I've been jailbreaking iPhone for as long as you can jailbreak iPhones. And I've always put Game Boy emulators and everything on everything that I can. But literally, I think the device that was like an actual legit gaming device that made me realize like this is it was the NVIDIA Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shield was sick at the time.
Yes, it was.
Holding clamshell.
Bro, you could plug it into your TV, grab another controller, bro. Like, oh man, dude. Yeah, that was it for me.
Chiefs?
There's a lot of handhelds that have been pretty instrumental to me, but I will say specifically for retro handhelds, like in our niche, the one that kind of just opened my eyes and I would say just change the entire industry has to be the original Odin. Like when that original Odin came out, like it completely just reset the entire playing field. There was nothing like it at the time.
Like the Dimensity Odin, like the OG one?
No, the one that had the Snapdragon 845. Yeah, 845.
Wasn't the Dimensity one the one before that one? Wasn't there like the Pro was 845 and the regular Odin was the Dimensity, wasn't it?
I think the Dimensity came after, if I'm not mistaken. I could have sworn the 845 was first. But either way, when that 845 came out and it was actively cooled and it was like outperforming flagship phones at the time, and the front end software they had on it was really good. Like it was the first time for me that I saw like, oh wow, this is really like kind of the future. You know, these devices can really be something.
Starship levels.
Yeah, because for me before that, like there were like a lot of decent devices, but they would always feel like something major was missing. But that was the first time with that 845 that felt like a complete package, and they really knocked out of the park. And they've just continued to do well ever since. and it kind of like got the rest of the players in the industry in line. Like everybody was surprised by that original Odin. It really made a big splash, and I'm so glad that it did.
Can I say something really quick before you answer, Matt? Just because he said the original Odin with the 845. Our buddy Lee, Handheld Hoarder, used to be one of our co-hosts. Last night I was in Discord with him, and he was on there trying to see how far he could push a game native on that 845. It was hilarious, dude. Like, I was like, "You're a freaking animal, bro."
That sounds like Lee.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I'm pretty sure there was a Windows build for that as well. You could actually.
There was.
Windows 10 or something. Yeah. I don't use this thing for anything other. This is my main PSP machine. I use this. I have the TSPS and the Magni X. I still like this the most for the Vita. I mean, that's what I use it for.
It's a solid handheld, dude. Still a solid handheld.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to play with. Still a lot. Even the sticks are kind of bootleg. It's still a lot of fun. So, for me, it's I know it sounds silly, but it's the PSP. That's where handheld wise, the PSP. I mean, the original PSP, just doing the Pandora battery mod and the little SD card thing. And I remember learning that. And then my mom and her, Gamma. My mom is like 77. She's a gamer.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah. So she had, she took my PSP from me after I modded it, and because Super Nintendo and everything on there, it's like the biggest thing. So, and then that I ended up getting, I can't remember how, but I got my hands on one of the Star Wars, the limited edition, the white Star Wars, the Darth Vader one. Yeah, and PSP. And that was for me. That was like, this is so freaking cool. Handheld wise, I mean, original emulation still is going to go back to like the original Xbox and the Raspberry Pi for me. Those are modded. I still have an original Xbox on there that's modded. Just that kind of fun stuff. That's always been a blast. But the PSP was the one for me. Probably boring, but yeah, I remember that. That's pretty dope. That's a great question, man. I love it. That's a great question.
I gotta say, the PSP is far from boring, right? Because I was really involved in the homebrew scene in the early days of the PSP. So I was kind of in the inner circle with Dark Alex and co, who really busted that shit wide open. Sorry, but if can I curse on here or not?
Yeah. After half an hour, say what you want. Say whatever you want, bro.
Yeah. So I was like kind of close in contact, not with Dark Alex himself, but really close to his inner circle. So watching things progress as we unlocked more and more things in terms of homebrew and custom firmware, amazing. So I got a lot of inspiration from those guys who are way smarter than me, by the way. They make me look like a dumbass in comparison. Those guys have moved on to really awesome jobs. Like, I still keep in touch with them here and there sometimes. But geez, yeah. But yeah, I think the original device that kind of made me go, wow. I wish I had it, but it was more like I was window shopping a lot. It was the GP2X. Don't know if you guys remember that one.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. I was window shopping, right? I was young then, and I was like, I can't afford this shit. But basically, a Genesis on the go was basically what I wanted to do. A poor man Sega Nomad. And,
dude.
That was it, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is where I want to go." But yeah, no, things evolved. It got into the PSP scene, moved on from it after a while, and then my next retro console was the 353V, and that's close. That has a close place to my heart because it was the first device I actually ever ported Sonic Mania to, and I actually put that on Portmaster. So the first initial Portmaster release of Sonic Mania was by myself. That's the only contribution I've ever made to Portmaster.
I didn't know that you made contributions to Portmaster, dude. That's awesome, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So that was back in the day. Wow. I mean, it was only a few years back, but yeah, certainly quite a fun, challenging port to do because I didn't know what the hell I was doing back then. But yeah, I got here at the end. But yeah, Portmaster has really grown well, and I talked to those guys as well, KL Pops, etc. Those guys are really killing it in terms of the ports at the moment.
My gosh, they're
and seeing your name on the Portmaster website. If you go on portmaster.games and search Sonic Mania, you'll see the Gamma Squeeze.
Yeah,
that is wild.
I want to see it now. I want to.
You said 353V, right?
353V. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question: Vertical, horizontal, clamshells. What's your pick?
Oh, see if I'm playing Game Boy games like OG Game Boy Color, it's got to be a vertical.
Yeah.
For GPA, because of the aspect ratio, I prefer a wider kind of button layout, etc. So then a clamshell or candy bar style, I would prefer that. Just really depends. I think 16:9 systems for a candy bar shape, personally.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, and what's your favorite aspect ratio screen?
Oh, what one was the KTR one again?
3x2.
3x2, yeah.
3x2.
I think that's a good middle ground. I mean, you'll get black bars either way, but I think generally it's a good middle ground. I quite enjoy that. Yeah.
All right, I have a question. I have a silly question. If you were stuck on a deserted island and you could only have one handheld, what would it be? Don't concern yourself with battery life. You have.
I was just going to say something
it's solar powered. It's solar powered. Right?
Solar powered.
What handheld would it be? Yeah.
I have a huge backlog, right? But it's all 32-bit games and under. And to this day, I've never played the N64 game. So I would say anything I could. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sold to the N64. I was sold more to the PS1, etc. back in the day. PS2, I'm okay with it. So I would say anything PS1 and under. Probably the 476H. I gotta say. I know I sound like a fanboy, but
thank you for saying it again, because just last night I was in a Discord call. So just quick shameless plug. If you want to catch us guys here, we'll send Gamma an invite. I know he's really busy, probably won't be able to partake, but us guys here most of the time, we're hanging out in Handhelds United's Discord. That's where we hang out, we chat, we talk games. So if you guys ever want to come through and just chat or just bullshit, like, we're always there. But last night I was in a call in HU, and I was telling somebody in there, like, dude, I really want to get a 476H because people just keep talking about this device. Like, it's endless. Like, you hear it nonstop, like 476H. And it's one of the only Ambernicks that I've really skipped beside, like, the Slide and of course the 577 and I don't like those devices, but yeah, I really want to visit that 47. I'm gonna pick one up now. I gotta give it a go.
I really like the purple one. It's
that color's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's really solid.
Yeah,
I think for me, it feels great in the hand. Like, it's not too heavy. Good quality build. And quite easy to pick up and play. Compared to like a 477M, I think I mentioned it before. I can't play it for too long. It's not comfortable for me. Funny enough, I think it's too bulky and unwieldy, and it gets hot compared to a 476H. Funny enough, but yeah, depending on what you want to play. I mean, for me, it's all about that screen. It gets really bright with the BFI. It works fantastically. Global shaders, I'm playing any app, the EQ and the Gamma RGB on the sticks, ambient lighting, perfect machine for me.
Dude, I'm getting one. Okay,
I love it. All right, Monto, what's your answer to that question?
What was the question? Sorry, I got distracted. I saw somebody mention
Ship
of Hark. I saw Green Protag mention Ship of Harkinian in the chat.
And oh my goodness!
And my brain. If you mention Ship of Harkinian, that's the Ocarina of Time port, I lock in.
I literally went and installed them on my Thor the other night. Ship 1 and 2. I was like, all right, I'm putting them on the Thor. Gosh. I gotta get going.
So good. Custom textures on that thing. Okay, what was the question? Sorry.
So if you were stuck on an island made of dessert, no, I'm just kidding. If you were stuck on a deserted island and you only could take one handheld, you're not concerned with battery life. It has a magical solar charger. What device would it be?
Probably AY and Thor. I mean, I gotta give it to the Thor. The Thor is just all around absolute banger. It's got the processing power that is like perfect. It's not complete overkill. Like, you can run pretty much anything that you want to run on it. It's got the dual screens, so again, you can run anything you want on it. 3DS to DS, you're not limited to the single screen, and you got Android, and
you got dual bit, so you could run rock.
And you can dual bit.
Also, too, hopefully
Good
soon we'll have
point.
some gamma on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeeves,
What about you, Jeeves? Yep, exactly.
Honestly, it's my cop-out answer, but it would definitely
Steam
be
Deck.
the One X Sugar.
I thought you were going to say Steam Deck. I thought you were going to say Steam Deck. That's different than what I thought you were going to say.
Well, the reason I didn't go Steam at this time is that I've been playing like a lot of Dolphin on the Sugar recently, like a ton. And like, yes, the deck screen is bigger, but man, having that like size for Dolphin games on the Sugar, that top screen, it looks really, really good. So I definitely have to go Sugar for that. And then the bottom screen for multitasking. Well, I wanted to start out. I gotta take the most versatility I can, and like that's the device for it.
Fair. I dig it 100%. I dig it 100%. If mine comes with a huge caveat, I would say right now.
No fence riding. No,
not the fence riding.
Okay.
I would say the Thor right now. The problem is that after 6.5 months, I finally got my Odin 3. So I'm like, I could potentially be, in love with it, but then, well, shit, I have to fence ride because then I have the damn.
No fence riding, bro.
Especially not Android x86 fence. You can't sit on that one.
No, but that's the thing because Green Protagonist just said it.
You already knew exactly what he was gonna do, Monto. No, you already went forward, bro.
I have the damn Legion Go too.
You can juggle Android handhelds or Windows handhelds, but don't fence ride on both.
I don't know.
All right.
I have to stay back to my original show. I'm gonna say Odin 3. Even though I've only turned it on for about 30 seconds, it's the whole time I've had it.
No, brother, this guy.
I'm gonna go Odin 3, even though I'm not so sure yet.
He likes the idea of the Odin 3. That's what it is.
Oh my god! I waited for this damn thing for so long. I don't have a choice. It's my de facto answer for everything.
Look, I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna cheat. And I'm not fence rider here, but I am going to cheat. Since I said that it was like a magical solar system, right? We're not concerned with battery life. I'm going to take the Apex with no battery backpack. Just super light.
Nice.
There's
technicality
of the solar magic, right? Freaking $395 in this thing, weighing about as much as a Switch 2. Like, dude,
the battery feels heavier than the handheld itself. It's at least 50-50. It's crazy.
Oh, bro.
Well, the battery weighs more than half than the handheld. Like the handheld without the battery is like 670 grams, and the battery itself is 390, almost 400 grams. Like that's a heavy battery.
It is a heavy battery. It definitely changes the feel when you're holding on to it for a while, right? Like having that battery on there makes it a little. You're gonna want your elbows rested somewhere, right? You're not just holding this out in the air for a long time. But man, the experience you get out of the 395, bro, there's like you're limitless. You're absolutely limitless. On top of that, the fact that I can have a full size SSD on the inside and that bi-wing SSD on the outside. Like I can have dual boot. I can have my entire Steam library on this thing, as well as emulation library. So I think I would probably go that. I do kind of want to fence ride now as I'm getting deeper, but I'm not going to fence ride. So because I really have fallen in love with this. It's just one day, dude. Like
how dare you after the shit you just said?
Yeah, that's why I say I'm not gonna fence ride. I'm not gonna.
This guy's a freaking monster.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I need to port to the DMG soon as well. I've got one of those as well. I need to do the release to the Pocket S as well, which I need to do. I do have a confession. I've never had that x86 handheld, so that's going to be something I'll need to look at maybe at some point. But yeah.
Oh wow, you've never gotten into the x86. Is it just because you weren't drawn to them, or you were just too busy?
My backlog's immense. Like if I got an x86, if I got a Steam Deck or anything, it would be sitting there gathering dust. Like I would just not have the time to play it. So eventually I will get around to it. But hopefully, I was hoping the prices would come down, but with memory prices going up, and you saw Aya Neo no longer doing what was it, the next to
the next.
They suspended.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. So yeah, maybe I should invest in x86 just now before things get a little bit worse.
Yeah. Try on the used market, secondhand market. Yeah, that's awesome. So Green Tag said 3 devices, all gaming, any peripherals, any price, but 3 gaming devices only.
Ooh. Right. 28XX, the small one. I've got an orange one. I quite like that. It's pretty fun. Reminds me of a Game Boy Micro. If not that, then the iNeo Pocket Micro. I like it, but some parts, it's a bit of a toss up between those two. Oh,
that's a big difference because that's a big difference because the 28XX is that little tiny 2.8 inch. It's tiny, and then the Pocket Micro is a 3.5 and it's small, but it's still kind of bulky. You know what I mean? So that's a huge difference in the two.
You made a gamma build for the Pocket Micro, right?
You did.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'm debating
with the screen. The screen feels weird, like the stock out of the box screen. It's like I don't know. It feels weird. Is it over sharpened? Is it ghosting? What is it?
It might be just a little bit ghosting, and plus the backlight bleed on some of these units are not very good. I gotta say, right? So for iNeo, I feel like you're always compromising on one thing with at least one thing on every single damn device. It is infuriating, and I actually called iNeo out on the Discord, and they'll no longer talk to me. But I don't care. I'll do whatever I want, right? But like for example, the ghosting on this is terrible. Like compared to other devices, stuff like that. So I've done some work to try and reduce it. Basically, I've overvolted the display a little bit, overdrove it to try and counteract that ghosting. It helps to a degree. And I've overclocked the GPU on this as well, so we kind of get a nice little performance boost on there. But yeah, with iNeo, it always feels like there's a little bit of compromise somewhere. But who knows, right? We'll see with the Pocket S and the DMG, which I'm planning to work on next. And back porting the next release of Gamma OS to the Pocket Micro. And what was the one without the sticks? Micro Classic, that was it.
Micro Classic, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, those are on my to-do list. But yeah, you said 3 devices, so I'll give you the 3. The 4, because 4 is pretty damn good. I'm going to go with 28XX for now, just for the portability. I quite enjoy that. Okay. And then it's a toss-up between the 476H and the 405M for me. I can't really choose between the two at the moment. Maybe 476H because it's got video out. And the ambient lighting. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. That's so. What OS are you running on your 28XX?
Ooh, mustard.
Mustard on the meat.
Okay. Nice.
No,
DJ Khaled said it.
Oh my God.
Mustard.
This is one for everybody. What hobbies do you have outside of other hobbies do you have besides this?
I had to take a drink.
We need to take a drink for that one.
Yeah.
You want somebody else to answer first, or you want us to come back to you, Gemma?
Yeah, come back to me. I need to think about that one.
All right. We're gonna go to the other Android guy.
You're like what?
Hobbies outside of gaming.
Hobbies outside of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I won't do like
for you. That's easy for you, bro. I could shoot 3 or 4 off the top of my head for you.
I know, but it's like all boring canned stuff. I will say one
You're knitting. You over there knitting?
No, not no.
So, brick building.
Yeah, I'm
Legos and micro Legos.
Yeah, I does love Legos.
No, but I was gonna say I recently got into a new hobby with a local group. Basically like collecting like giant stuffed animals and stuff. And I recently got one.
You would say, dude.
Yeah.
Carry it while you wear your cat suit,
dude. It's 6 feet tall.
I was gonna say, how big?
It carries you. It carries you.
It's 6 feet. It's 6 feet tall. And it's about 30 pounds, I believe.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Gamma,
If you come back to me, I'll show.
Gamma, the first time he was on our show, he showed up in the cat costume from Super Mario. What was it? Super Mario,
World.
not Super Mario.
3D World.
Super Mario 3D World. You know the cat you turn into?
Yeah.
He showed up in the cat costume with the mitts on. He was drinking water like that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You're insane. You're insane. You're insane. You're on the spot. Oh, you're on the clock, old man.
Oh shoot. Okay, I was looking something up that somebody was saying in the chat. Oh well, I mean that's easy for me, dude. I love outdoors, dude. Fishing, freaking four-wheeling, camping.
I stay for fishing.
You know, I'm a big boy eating. I like eating, grilling.
Hell yeah, that's the right
I love grilling. I love grilling. I mean, too many things. Cars, you know, just a lot of stuff.
Fair.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
All right, young man.
Yeah, Ernie, you're right. Bean eating. Hey, Wanto, no gooning in the answer, bro.
Oh, come on, that was all I had. That's it. You're taking everything from me. I like making music. I like rock climbing. It's pretty fun. Yeah. So I've been.
That's right. You do like
rock climbing.
Yeah, I've been rock climbing for like 9 years. So that's a blast. And then just like. Yeah, outside of making videos, also just like noodling around with these handhelds, man. Whether I'm making videos on these or not, I'm just always messing with shit. I'm always just noodling around, trying to figure out like.
Best believe a handheld goes to every camping trip, every four-wheeler ride, every grill out, bro. Like every.
You gotta have a travel handheld. Tech Tweeps is his Miu Mini. Mine is I gave my friend my Miu Mini Flip, but it's lately been the Mini.
Odin Mini Pro took a dive off the cliff while I was four-wheeling, so you know, like
no,
dang.
That thing, and they don't make them anymore, dog.
Dude. And one of my all-time favorite devices out of this entire space, dude. Like,
it's such a banger. I love just picking that up and I mean, I guess the next best thing is kind of this, but it doesn't compare.
You know, I haven't had the RP6, and I don't want to derail the question. I haven't had the RP6, but when I look at it, it doesn't look like it's as dense as the O2 Pro. Mini.
It's not
and that's what I love about it is the density of that.
That to me seems like it would be a good thing because that was my problem with the O2 Minis. I didn't like the ergo of it. It was too. I didn't like it. You know, that was the only Odin device I can honestly say I didn't enjoy.
Density to me screams premium. I don't know why.
Premium. It was the perfect amount of density without being heavy, without being like a brick, like heavy, like 77M kind of like weight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Fair enough. As you know, for me, you guys, I mean, you guys just
making pizza dough.
I mean, there's so much crap. I mean, so that's my new thing is making pizza dough at home. That's been my new thing because I'm a fat ass, right? So
I forgot 3D printing because I know you're gonna say it.
Yeah, that would be my thing. Is I probably 3D printing more than anything. 3D printing and then probably collecting keyboards and then making pizza. That would probably be it.
So, and Christmas lights and Halloween decorations, and
I go a little crazy for the holiday decorations. Yeah, consistently probably 3D printing. It might be the only thing I do more than
recipe for pizza dough.
You don't want to know. It's not YouTube friendly.
Yeah, I've been working on that shit since Christmas, since January. I got a pizza steel, which is like a really fancy pizza stone that you put in. Wait, her needs an asshole.
He told me how he flavored it one time.
In the chat.
Yo, man, you do have hair. Oh, that's so good, dude. That's so good.
My God. Oh, shit.
Oh, you never seen him with a little swoop, bro? Sometimes he does a little.
I got the OG comb over.
The hard swoop comb over, dude.
Funny. I didn't want to put out there, but since you guys put us there, I did notice some references that I feel like Gamma might be the old guy like me in the room. Just some of the stuff he said. I think we might be around the same age.
I don't think Gamma's as old as you, bro. You made fire, bro.
Look at
You always want somebody to be in that same room as you. No, hey Gamma, don't listen to him, bro. He invented the wheel, dude.
Don't let the gray hairs fool you, right? I've had gray hair since I was a teenager, so that's pretty alarming.
Stuff he said, man.
You don't see that luscious head of hair he got there, Matt? You guys are not the same, brother.
Oh my God. I'm 50. I'm 50, Gamma. Are you close?
Oh, he got to hesitate. He's like, oh.
He's like, nah.
What's close? What do you call close?
I'm gonna say
it's Felix. I don't want to hurt this dude's feelings. Shit, what do I say?
I'll say it starts with a 3. That's all I'll say. Right?
Okay,
oh
okay.
My gosh, okay.
I'm 38. I'm 38. You close to me?
Yeah, I'm close to you. 36.
Okay. All right.
I'll be 37 this year.
Okay.
All right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, man. We not up there with you, my boy.
Matt's in the stratosphere.
You're on your own raft, brother.
Oh my God.
You're on your own banana boat, my friend.
You said you do IT support, right, Gamma?
Well, I kind of started off IT support, so yeah, professionally.
Like, can you fix too loud? Can you fix too loud, Monto? They seem to keep dropping off the stream for some reason. I don't know what happens to them. They just keep dropping. I don't know. They got technical issues all the time. You may have to fix the thing for them.
Let me back.
9 times out of 10, my career, I made a career out of this. My number one device is just turn it off and on again. Career progression.
I think that's what Matt's gonna have to do with his computer. I think he's gonna have to turn it off and back on again. Yeah,
I think that's what he's doing right now.
It worked. I restarted it and it worked. Great job.
You wish your computer started up that quick, brother. You can't even get back into your browser that fast when you close it.
Oh man.
I kind of want to get into something fun really quick. That I was, hey Matt, do you mind pulling up that site?
Yes.
It was something that I kind of dove into. Guys, get ready. When I come into this topic, dude, I'm wearing a full tinfoil hazmat suit.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Literally, get your foil caps on. Just get ready because I went down this rabbit hole and it's been no stopping me. But I just need to know, am I the only one experiencing the Mandela effect? Because I really feel like I am, bro.
So what specifically? Give us the rundown.
So they're saying that Pikachu never had that black part on his tail. Like, I remember it being there. Do you guys remember it being
I remember it being there too. That's weird. Wow.
I don't remember that. I remember the smaller version. Was it Pichu or whatever?
Pichu, yeah.
Yeah. I think that one had the black too, right?
Yeah, he has the black too, but Pikachu I remember as well. So I'm like, okay. So another one. Scroll down a bit, Matt. Stay up on this top block though. Do you guys remember? So apparently it's called Oscar Mayer and not Oscar Mayer.
It's just pronounced Oscar Mayer.
So has it always been that way for you guys? Because I feel like I remember it differently.
Yeah. I think I've always remembered it spelled weird but pronounced Meyer.
Okay, so here's one that a lot of people also remember the same as me. Do you guys not remember the Monopoly Man having a monocle?
He does. He's got to have a monocle.
They say he doesn't. They say he never had a monocle ever.
No, that's cap.
That's
cap.
There's no way.
That's absolute cap. I'm sorry, but whoever's on the right there is an imposter.
Yeah, dude, for real. He's the Timu version, bro.
Yeah, it's exactly my words.
Oh my god! And there's
no way.
Let's go down some more down this article, Matt. There's more, but wait. So another one was DJ Khaled, another one. What was it? So keep going. I guess the double stuffed Oreos. I was talking to my wife about this one and I couldn't remember. I was like, I think it was double stuffed, but maybe it was double stuff with one F. Another thing that I've noticed with a lot of these Mandela effect stuff is that
it's double stuff. There's no way it's just double stuff.
It was double stuff. They branded it. They made it like a weird brand, but everybody called it double stuffed. Because double stuffed is stupid.
Something weird that I've noticed throughout this whole ordeal of researching this Mandela stuff is like that we choose to make brand names misspelled purposely, apparently, from what this says. So it was never Captain Crunch. It's always been Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Captain Crunch.
Okay, that one.
I remember Captain Crunch. Another one was what else was it? Keep going down, Matt.
Wait,
Darth Vader never said, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah, that I knew. No, he doesn't. He talks to him about it. And he never actually says it. He trust inside you and do that. But yeah, that's. I
remember him saying it, and I even seen a guy on YouTube with an action figure from 1984.
You've never seen the movie, action
bro. Figure. I've seen enough, but I'm not going to give you what you want. No, I'm not a fan. But I seen a guy on YouTube with an action figure from 1984 of Darth Vader with a voice box. So he pushes the button and he says, "Luke, I am your father." He can't breathe. He has like he needs a CPAP machine or something.
I think someone was goofing. I think someone was.
Also, and another one was let's go. Oh, this one. The Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia. Like, it never had that little basket thing, like that the fruit was falling out of. Yeah, and I remember it having it
too.
Yeah. So, and then as I'm doing more looking into it, I see somebody pulls out like an old shirt or old pair of boxers to show like it actually had the cornucopia, and they submitted it to Fruit of the Loom. And because that person submitted it, Fruit of the Loom decided to put out a picture with every logo they've ever had, and none of them ever had a cornucopia.
That's crazy. So my man was rocking bootleg Fruit of the Looms.
Bro, back in like 1979 or something, dude. Like,
this says Mickey Mouse doesn't have a tail.
No,
Mickey Mouse has a tail. Okay, Mickey Mouse has a tail. Okay.
He has a tail, right? Yeah.
So there were Monopoly games where the Monopoly man had a monocle. But there were games where he had one, and then like in some of the art, but then didn't in other parts of the art. And then I think the other side of that one is like people are like, "Oh, you're confusing it with Mr. Peanut."
No, how can you confuse those two?
Like, don't belittle me. He always had a monocle. I ain't no Mr. Peanut brain. Get out of here.
Like, yeah, dude. So they said Star Trek never said "Beat me up, Scotty." Never.
That's cat.
Never was a quote ever. Yeah. So
where did it come
from then?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and why do so many people remember it? Like, that's the part that is confusing to me. It's like so many people can remember these things but be wrong. I just don't understand. Let's go down some more, man. I think it was one more I wanted to show. It was keep going. Oh, this was another one. Okay, so do you guys remember ever watching a Shazam movie with Sinbad as a genie?
I
remember watching it. My boy Clef remembers watching it a ton, but they say that movie never existed. Like, that Sinbad never played a genie. He was never Shazam. And I was like, what? That's kind of weird, because literally we remember the movie. And yeah, I guess it never was weird. Yeah. And last one was I haven't seen it yet, but it was the Fruit Loops one. So I guess it was never spelled fruit, like correctly spelled fruit. It was always spelled Froot, Froot Loops. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I don't remember it being spelled Fruit Loops.
I think it was always spelled that one. Actually,
that's branding, baby. That's Captain Crunch. That's Fruit Loop.
Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch, dude. Like, I was like, bro, this is getting weird. Oh, and the last one, Uncle Sam never had stripes on his hat. Like, I choose you, Uncle Sam. Like, his hat was always solid white, they say. Yeah. It never had stripes on the hat.
What the hell is that?
Really?
Yeah.
The other one here says, in Silence of the Lambs, he never said hello, Clarice. He just said good morning.
No, he definitely. I remember that creepy voice saying "Hello, Clarice." Like,
right. That's too funny. That is too funny.
Yeah, there's just so many like different ones, and it's so weird because it's like I remember them, but I guess I'm wrong. But maybe Dior Mike's right, and I just have an old brain. You know,
the Berenstein Bears versus the Bernstein Bears. Oh, that's.
I had those books as a kid. I remember it being with an E, not an A. Like,
this is the
I remember
Mandela
the
effect. That's
Bernstein
one of
Bears.
the OG Mandela effect.
Yeah,
Bernstein.
Oh, Jiffy peanut butter.
Yeah, that's another one that was weird for me. I always remember it being Jiffy. I don't remember it being branded.
You're mixing Jiffy Pop, bro.
Yeah, I don't even know what Jiffy Pop is. I don't know what that is. I'm from the South, bro.
You know what Jiffy Pop is?
That's crazy.
I'm from the South, bro. We eat grits. I don't know what.
Oh God!
We don't put sugar in our grits, bro.
Oh my God!
What is Jiffy Pop? What is this? It's a soda, I assume, because you guys call pop soda.
Stovetop popcorn.
It's the popcorn. You put it. It's in an aluminum pan, and you put it over the heat. Like if you're camping, you just go back and forth, and it pops in.
Oh, that's too fancy for me, bro.
Oh my God! It's the most basic thing in the world, bro.
No, that's too fancy for me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I guess Shaggy never had an Adam's apple, and now, so he just has no Adam's apple. It was surgically removed.
No, he must have had some when he was. I mean, he was always eating like big ass
sandwiches, right?
Yeah,
he was eating like a fucking
the quadruple stacker, bro.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, that's hilarious.
I love Lucy. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. That quote was never said.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah. I just thought it was fun. I thought it was weird.
Oh, it's pretty cool, man.
Kind of went down the rabbit hole. I was like, what is this, dude? I feel like I'm being bamboozled.
We're getting answer me this, right? So I saw something about Chick-fil-A. I don't think we've really got Chick-fil-A in the UK. Is it worth the hype? Like I
had it last
I love Chick-fil-A.
Everyone hypes up.
They have Chick-fil-A by you now, Monto? They have Chick-fil-A in the Northeast? I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, we we've had it here for years, man.
I didn't know if it was just a Southern. I thought it was just a Southern thing. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is awesome. It's the most plain and good chicken. Like I moved to the South.
Bro, their chicken is good. Like freaking with the pickle juice. Oh my God, bro.
It's so
good. We have to make a trip and try it out because there's no way.
It's so good, it's going to be so plain. You're going to be blown away by how good it is compared to how plain it is.
Just smooth,
so delicious. Man. Yes, it is.
So we've got
mac and cheese is fire. And then one more thing there you gotta try. It's limited though. It's seasonal. The chicken tortilla soup. Like, good. My God, that joke is good, dude. And then just the way they treat you. Like they gotta be the nicest fast food place in America. Everybody else treats you like you peed in their front loop.
Oh my God. Hey, before we wrap this up, I wanted something that Gamma had mentioned earlier, and I thought it would be something interesting to bring up. Is that did you guys see? So Nintendo announced to
somebody kick Hands turn.
So it's Raising Cane's is garbage compared to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, dude, somebody kick him, bro.
Yeah. So the UK has the what is it called? Gamma Right to Repair Act. Is that what it's called?
It's something similar. Yeah.
That,
the right to repair was pushed by Louis Rossmann here in the States. I don't know what it would be called over there.
Yeah, so basically they have it like that, and they have to make it accessible for you to repair your own devices. So Nintendo's releasing a version of the Switch 2 with a replaceable battery, which is pretty cool. Not to say they don't say it's going to be easily replaceable, but it's a replaceable battery. So, I wonder if there's something here that could be. If you guys can hear me, both my screens just went blank.
Yeah,
we do hear you.
Still hear
you.
All right, so I can't see anything, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so I can take over for a minute if you want.
I'm back. Okay.
Cool.
So interesting, great topic. I just kind of thought, we're talking about the OLED Switch 2 and stuff and the replaceable battery. I'm kind of wondering, is this some kind of segue? We're all going to get this because that would be kind of cool, right?
I wonder if they'll make two different SKUs for have it in that region. But the thing is that the Switch is it's not region locked, right? So
exactly. I don't think it'd make much sense to have two separate hardwares. they might as well just start building it with the replaceable battery and just roll out to every location, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I think economies of scales wouldn't work out anyway if you did
the same thing as iPhone, right? When the UK pushed iPhone to get rid of the Lightning cable for USB-C to standardize one cable, iPhone didn't continue to have one revision for everywhere else and a different revision for the UK. You know, so I think you know what's weird though with the whole switch to a removable battery thing? Why no push for the cellular phones with that same concept? Like, because our cellular phones are probably the devices that we charge the most and we'll need a battery. Like, so that battery capacity is going down and down the most. So why not a push for that, but for the Switch? I mean, I'm happy for it for the Switch. Like that is very helpful to us, but let's do it everywhere. You know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gamma, I'm curious. Since
I didn't even know you're here, Matt, because your image is invisible now. You don't even have a square.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, something crashed and it's invisible. Yep.
Okay.
Just think of me like a fat ninja.
What was that? No, what was that scary movie? Like Hollow Man or some shit. Like
he's
like invisible and like he's like in your house. You don't know he's there. That's Matt, dude. That's Matt. He's the fat Hollow Man.
I'm gonna change my name to Pinto Ninja.
Pinto Ninja. Oh my god, dude.
That's right.
Oh man,
can't see me. Can't see me.
Gamma, does that legislation affect you in the UK since you're not a part of the EU? Like when they push stuff like that, does it still affect you guys?
Well, yeah, they generally ship the same kind of product to the region anyway. So generally, it does cascade over to the UK. But yeah, there are still some policies we probably do adopt from the EU, but not as strongly, obviously, as we once were when we were actually in the European Union. We'll see. Yeah, I think we will probably adopt it. We adopt some standards in a similar vein as the Europeans have.
Awesome.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
it sounds so funny to the ear to me for you to say the Europeans being from the UK. Like, you know, like to me, like the UK is the heart of Europe. And like, you know, now the people from the UK are referring to everybody else as Europeans. And they're just like, so what do you call yourselves? Like the United Kingdomians? I mean, like,
the British. That's what we drink our cups of tea.
How could I forget the red coats, bro? I'm sorry.
Well, I live in Scotland.
Just teasing, brother.
Scotland's quite fun. Still, regardless of whether they're in the European Union or not. I forgot to answer the question, actually, what do I do as a hobby? Well, there's not a lot with the free time I barely have, but Scotland's a wonderful place. I go travel and see all the kind of historic landmarks and stuff like that. If not that, I'm just watching anime most of the time. And I still need to catch up on One Punch Man Season 3. But I've not been hearing great things about it, so we'll wait and see how that goes.
Favorite anime, bro?
The Dragon Ball, man. Yeah, come on.
Oh, dude, okay. All right.
You talking OG Dragon Ball?
Old heads.
Yeah. I mean, I'll rewatch that every day, all day if I could. Unfortunately, my kids aren't really as interested in watching it as me. They don't see the point of it, but I'll get them there.
That's crazy. I feel like Dragon Ball's timeless, bro. Like, my kids sit down and watch. My kids watch Naruto with me. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. Hey, really quick, just because you referred to Scott, I like to watch videos of like stuff in Scotland, like landmarks and areas out there when people go out there. It's beautiful. It's actually quite beautiful.
And when the weather's good, it's really nice. Unfortunately, we get a lot of rain where I live, so hopefully the summer's coming along and we'll get a nice summer this year. The British summer is something to really enjoy, I've got to say, compared to other places I've been. So, yeah.
Well, I'm from South Florida, and I always tell people we only got 2 seasons down there: hot as F and rainy as F. So
that's definitely true.
Can you guys have them in the same day?
Across the street. Like I'm on this side of the street, and it's hot, and over there is raining. Like,
Sometimes it's like swimming in the air. That humidity is just built different.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh.
Yeah.
This has been a blast, bro.
Absolutely awesome. We know what we can expect from you soon because you said you got about 600 different devices that we're going to be seeing Gamma come across sooner or later, right? So,
no pressure.
No pressure at all.
It's an animal. It's like, no pressure. This is an animal. It's just like, here's another one. Here's another one.
I play that at night in my sleep. Just
DJ Khaled,
the one overlooked.
That's the way to do it.
The white background. Another one.
Exactly. Another one.
Motivation.
That's all I need.
So you got a ton of handhelds coming up. What can we see from you in the next few weeks?
Right. So after this weekend will be the RG Vitas and the Pocket Air Mini. So I'll get that released ASAP. And then
Pocket Air Mini is going to have the Nano that's built into the Next, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, can't wait.
So,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Will the Vita non-Pro also have Next?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So everything going forward is Next at this point. And so, we'll get these 3 releases done probably over the weekend, I would say. And then after, I'm going to focus on the Retroid, the AYNs, and the INEOs. I get those out of it. I've been promising it for a long time. People are still shouting at me for the X28, the Pau Kitty X28. That thing is
tell us how you feel, brother. Don't hold back. Tell us how you feel, bro. That piece of shit is garbage. New York came out. You heard him?
Selling pickleball rackets now.
Well, but put it this way, right? So actually, so it's a T618 device. And I thought I could clock it the same memory speed as the Ambernic ones. No, hell no. As soon as you go anywhere near the memory speeds of Ambernic devices, the thing screeches at you. It actually literally screams at you and crashes and burns in your hand. And the first time I did it, I shat myself. It was not fun. I had to unplug the battery and shut it the hell up. So you've got a screeching handle. Try to find the screwdriver, open the fucking thing up, and try to unplug the battery. Jeez.
Dude, I'm dying.
I can see him panicking while that thing is
literally almost shot myself.
That's crazy.
Oh my god,
so good, man.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's not. He's not like it sucked or whatever. He's like, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Listen, folks, if you have not done so already, join the Gamma Discord. He's got all kinds of content on there. If you got it,
drop it again in the chat. Drop a link to it again in the chat.
If you got it, please consider subscribing to his Patreon. It's $10 a month. You get access to the releases when they come out. I love it, man. I'm spastic, so and when he drops new shit, I'm all over it, right? And so it's a blast. Worth every bit of it. It's the best OS you're gonna find on most of his devices. So
thank you.
Show the man some love. And if you ain't got any, that's cool. Still jump into his Discord, say what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell the man thank you. Because we all love the work and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Again, you can catch us all, chit-chatting on Handhelds United. We're going to send Gamma an invite. Maybe we can get him to come say what's up. Maybe one day we can drag him to get him to carve out a few minutes to come game with us. I don't know. We're busy, but I want to hear some more stories because his stories, even just with his accent, are freaking hysterical. Just if anything, he could be making fun of Two Line, which we didn't do at all tonight, which blows my mind. It would probably be just even funnier with his accent. So, but yeah, man, awesome, spectacular. Too loud. Close us out, brother. Close us out.
All right. Well, this has been Too Loud. My boy, the fat invisible Pinto Ninja or whatever he called himself, Matt.
I'm throwing gang signs right now. That's for you, bro. I'm throwing gang signs if you can see it.
No, hey, guys, we love you. Safe State, we love you. Be sure to check us out next week. Come through HU's Discord. We'll be dropping links for Gamma's Patreon and his Discord in the description box below. Gamma, we love you. Thank you. Please continue your work, man. We fully support you, man. And that's it for us this week, guys. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you later.
Peace.
Adios.
Later.